Hello, amateurs, and welcome to our Rugby World Cup series. And I've got Elko here with me again today. Elko, how are you?
ATT, very excited about this weekend. Some big ones coming, big ones.
Yep, this is the week 3 fixtures that we are about to dive into, discuss, and figure out which ones we really like. So we're going to do them in order. And there's 5 match days this weekend, starting with Wednesday,
Mm.
which is Italy versus Uruguay. What are you thinking for this one?
Yeah, midweek game. Well, I think it's a short turnaround for Uruguay, right? But if they can take some of the confidence and some of the play that they brought up last weekend, I think they could potentially push Italy, who had a week off. I think, yeah. So yeah, uh, I'm going to go for a Uruguay win on this one, and by about 5 points.
Wow.
What are your
I mean, what,
thoughts? What do you think?
Well, firstly, I'll say I think it's going to be a very attractive game because the way
Mm,
both of these teams play is very easy on the eye. I think Uruguay will do a great job, but I see Italy winning. I think they'll have too much for them in the end. And with, like you said, with the short turnaround and the week off, I think it's stacked in Italy's favour. So I'm expecting Italy
yeah,
win, but moreover, I'm expecting a really good game. Um,
yeah.
let's go on to Thursday,
Fingers
which is
crossed on. Yeah,
France versus Namibia down in
yeah.
Montpellier. Which I mean, Namibia had a bit of a shocker last week, as did France, to be fair. So, how do you see this one going?
Yeah, well, I guess the intriguing thing is what do they do with selection with France, and are they going to keep the same team that played at the weekend, and are they going to sort of keep the energy in the players that were rested? Do they risk some of their top line players? It's an interesting one. Um, I would imagine Sean Edwards was probably a little bit upset with some of the reads on when they played against Uruguay at the weekend. So maybe poor old Namibia will be getting it double barrels if they ever have the ball. But I see France. I mean, Namibia were very disappointing at the weekend. Maybe they'll be there'll be some tough sessions this week, and a bit of pride will need to be taken, and go out there and give it a good go. But I just see France running away with this, and probably another big score like we saw last weekend. Probably maybe 70s or 80s, unfortunately for Namibia. But yeah, I can only see a French win, unfortunately.
Yep, I completely agree, and I understand Cyril Bay is fit again this week. So to have
Oh
a
wow,
loose head chomping at the bit against the Namibian scrum, which could barely, manage to stay upright against the
yeah,
Kiwis, it could be a set piece demolition coming up. Is a
yeah.
concern for Namibia for sure.
Would you would you definitely play him then, or give him another week? I suppose they probably need to play him, don't they?
If he's fit to play, I would definitely be playing him. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
think he needs to.
interesting. Wow, that's great news for
Friday
them.
night,
To be fair.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Friday night, this could be a really important game actually in the
Yeah,
way England's group shakes out. So we've got Argentina versus Samoa.
yeah, that's massive, isn't it? It's massive. I mean, Argentina have had a week to stew after a very disappointing game against England in the opener. Samoa, I thought looked really good and workmanlike, and we spoke about it in the last pod how good their set piece was. But Argentina needs to come out and they've got to win this game. It's an interesting one. I think it'll be quite tight. The week off might have done Argentina really good, or they may be sort of off the pace a little bit. So it will be very interesting to see what happens. And Samoa are fighting to get third in that group, so they don't have to do the qualifiers, right? So I think they'll be targeting this game and really going for it. It's going to be a real battle. If Argentina um, are the team we thought they were, but they need to show it on Friday night. Otherwise, it could be a disaster, and the wheels could probably come off of that show for sure.
Yeah, I expect this to be an incredibly physical game. Argentina have had some really good performances in recent years. I think the
Mm.
rest is going to do them fine, and I think they're going to come out and win this game comfortably. It'll be. I think it'll be tight for a while, but I think they'll take it comfortably in the end.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think they'll maybe maybe more than 2 scores potentially, maybe a bit more.
Mm.
But Argentina are a good team, and they were poor. And I think they'll be pretty upset with Czechia will definitely be upset. But yeah, it'll be a great game.
Yeah, should be. Okay, we'll move on to Saturday where there's three fixtures. The first one, Georgia
Mm.
versus Portugal. And I forgot to talk about this in the review of the Portugal game, but the Portuguese tight head tried a grubber after about 10 minutes of the game versus Wales, which impressed me no end. He just looks like a classic old school prop. And to see somebody like that attempting a grubber, I just loved it.
I
But let's talk
missed that.
about this.
Did he mean to do it?
Yeah, I think
He
so.
didn't
Yeah,
drop
I
it. He
mean,
didn't drop it and kick it.
no, it's deliberate, I'm sure. But anyway, um, we
Love it.
got we got a clash of styles here, really. Well, maybe
Yeah,
traditionally a clash of styles. I think Georgia are playing a lot more rugby nowadays, but Portugal, if they keep playing to space like they did or attempted to do against Wales, this could be a very interesting game, and I'm not really sure which way it's going to go, to be honest.
no, I mean, before the World Cup, we probably would have been saying, well, we were all saying that Georgia, were ones to watch, having beaten Wales, and all this talk about, there should be relegation and promotion into the Six Nations, and they were in the prime seats to do that, and they've had the rug pulled out, and people are saying they haven't turned up, and they haven't turned up. So I think it's a really crucial game for them in a sort of wider sense. They need a big performance. But Portugal although they lost, are on a high, and they should be. They played really, really well in against Wales, and it will be a massive clash of styles for sure. I think obviously Georgia are going to try and take him up front, and be very, very physical. Uh, Nothing well similar to Wales, I guess, in one sense. I kind of fancy Portugal. I'd like to see Portugal win, frankly, because Georgia just haven't turned up yet. Having said that, if they come out and put on a show for us, then Jouet and the best team will come out on top, and good luck to them.
Yeah, yeah. Again, this could be another one where Portugal, had a big game last weekend against Wales, a massive fixture for them. Can they back it up emotionally against, the
Yeah,
smaller team in their group? That could be the real crux of this fixture.
big challenge.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's move on to England, Chile. Who knows what
Mm,
could happen in this game? I sense England might use this as a little bit of a little bit of a take a breath halfway through the group, and a lot more players are going to get a game. Therefore, they might let the reins off a little bit. Oh, but I'm not so sure. I'm not sure if Borthwick would ever want to do that. Uh, who knows, really? I can't see. As usual, I'm completely conflicted when it comes to England. What do you think, Elko?
I think we're having a similar conversation to last week. um, I why would they change? There's no point changing because it's working. They're winning. And I don't think it will do them any good to play champagne style rugby because of the games that are coming after. They need to get what they're doing right, and it appears to me that the guys have bought into this. It's not like it's not working. Like what happened in the last World Cup in France, yeah, it was in France when what was that 2013 when there was a bit of when the players kind of took charge, and Deladio and all the guys when they made it to the
Oh,
to
that
the
was
final.
2007. 2007.
Oh, forgive me. 2007. So it's working. They're winning. If they weren't winning, then maybe. But I think we'll see a very similar setup. I think they'll kick a lot. Um, we might hear some crowd reaction. Um, but then I think they'll open up in the last sort of 30 minutes and go bananas. I think selection will be interesting and what he does there. Whether he plays Marcus at 15 from the beginning with potentially Stewart sidelined with a dead leg. Um, but I guess the big question is who's he picking at 10? And does he throw everything out? Ford has been playing well. He's got 2 man of the matches in a row. But you've got your captain coming back. So what what do you do? What would you do, TT? And if you were Borthwick?
God. Well, there's some chat online today that he's going to pick all three of them. So Ford at 10, Farrell at 12, and Smith at
That's what.
15.
Oh,
I mean, that could happen.
yeah.
Especially with Stewart being injured this week. I would not be averse to that. I was a fan of Ford Farrell for a long time. You know, I think they play really well together. I think it opens up the pitch a little bit. We know we're going to be a heavily kicking team, so it gives us two kicking options. But it's a change of stance, you know, as opposed to having two running centres, which we've had previously. So I'm sure they've practiced that. I'm sure they're prepared for that eventuality. It could be a good opportunity this weekend to put that into action. I think he might well pick all three of them.
Maitland can play 15, can't he?
Yeah,
And Daly.
yeah, they could.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he'll definitely pick Farrell. I think he'll pick forwards. I think he'll be forward at 10 and Farrell at 12. I think he'll probably pick Mano at 13, and then let's see. I'm not sure what happens outside of that, where they just push out. Marching goes to the wing where he can play and has played. I don't know. It's a nice problem to have. It's not as if it's a crucial fixture.
Yeah,
But it's a really interesting one. And my understanding is that Farrell is still running the training, and the guys are very much behind it all. I listened to BBC podcast, and they had Ford on, and he speaks so well. He's very selfless, and these guys have played together under 20s, and have always been in the same age group and played together, and they've got massive respect. So I think we'll see this. I think all along he was planning to play the two of them at the same time. That's probably not as big a question as what he does at full back. I'd be If he is going to pick Marcus, this is the game to play him in. But I'm not sure I'd play him in a big test game at full back, because I think he'd get targeted massively, and he could absolutely tear it up, but he also could get himself into a bit of trouble by trying to do too much. I think he's an awesome player. I'd love to see him. I'd love to see all of them play, to be honest. And get the most exciting players on the pitch for England, and then just watch them do box kicks for 55 minutes. I
yeah. Okay,
support them when Ireland are playing. I'm only jesting. I'm only jesting.
okay. Well, who knows what's going to happen? None of us really do. We're just guessing. But let's go to South Africa, Ireland, which is obviously a huge game, but I'm wondering whether this might just be a little bit of shadow boxing this weekend. I wonder how much they're really going to go for each other. What do you think?
Well, so as we speak, as we record, South Africa have announced their team. I know because my good pal Harty in Dublin, who's my rugby wife, has texted me to say you're right. So I think they've gone with a 6-2 split, or a 7-1 split. And as usual, I can't find it right now, but I think it's a 6-2 split. So um, I I think you're right. I'm not. It's a really interesting one. I've got a funny feeling that Ireland are going to pick a slightly strange team, and pack their bench. Um, I've got this weird feeling he's going to pick McCluskey at 12. I don't know why. Um, Bundy Aki is is in the best form of his life, but then maybe him coming on off the bench with a Sheehan, with a Doris. I don't know. I think he might do something strange and make it very physical. Um, but then the feeling at home is that Faz is a bit of a psycho, and he wants to win every single game. And maybe the fact we've got a week off after allows us maybe to do three on a bounce and then take a break. Um, if we lost on the weekend, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Um, to beat South Africa is a huge challenge. To beat them twice is extremely difficult. Um, but I think we're going to play in a slightly different way to what they expect. I think I don't know. I'm really confused by it. I kind of the sensible thing to do is just pick the team that has been playing and let's crack on. But then if we get whacked, there's a huge potential that how powerful they are, and if they're on form, what they did to New Zealand, psychologically, what does that do to you? But if we pick a slightly different team and we run them close or pip them, then we've got massive psychological advantage going later on if we make it all the way through and we meet them again. So it's an interesting one. It's probably folly. Um, I think maybe we see both teams pick the teams we think, and they go at us, and let's see what happens. the reason I'm saying that is because I think Faz does have one eye on this bomb squad, and what do you do to battle that? Do you have something similar, and how do we do that? The only way we can do that is to pick a slightly different team than we normally do, and then you have people like Bundy, Doris coming on, Sheehan coming on. I think he's got to pick our props. I think we have to have a strong scrum, obviously. But it's going to be an absolute belter of a game, no matter what squads are picked. There's lots of backstories going on. Ireland leaked or something that wasn't going to be getting the DOR job in Ireland. Then he's come out and said he wasn't taking it anyway. Then there was pictures of a few of the South African squad taken in France during the week, having a beer with the La Rochelle, few of the La Rochelle players. There's loads of kind of mind games going on. It's really cool. I love it. And obviously then you've got this Pollard thing where he's been drafted in. So yeah, it's gonna be epic. I can't wait. I don't look. It's as long as it's a really good game and it's competitive, then and it's a proper test, then that's all I want out of it. And an Ireland win, but I don't think we're going to win.
Okay, let's move on to Scotland v Tonga before I run out of light and disappear off the screen here.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, the sun's just set. Right, Scotland v Tonga. This I fancy Scotland getting a performance in here. I think they need it. I think they have been too good for too long, and they would have been bitterly disappointed with how they played against South Africa. And I think they're going to get a good performance, and I think they'll get 4 tries and win.
Yeah, look, from an Irish point of view, I'll be wearing my Tonga jersey. That would be lovely if Tonga got a scalp there. It would make the next few weeks a little bit easier, I think. But no, look, from a rugby point of view, I want and from a competition point of view, Scotland to win well, Finn to have a stormer. Tonga, as we spoke about in our last pod, they're no mugs, and they're very very physical. Um, just to hope that Scotland can get through without any injuries, and they're good to go with their last few games. But yeah, Scotland win on that one.
And then another very interesting game to finish off what should be another amazing weekend of rugby. Wales versus Australia. Wales, who, got a great result against Fiji and then didn't play very well last weekend. And against Australia, who has really struggled against Fiji. And now this group is wide open. So what do you see happening in this game?
I see a bonus point for both teams and a draw. um, no, it's going to be another absolute banger, isn't it? Two coaches that really like each other. Um, it's going to be good. Eh, who's going to win that one? I fancy Australia. I think to win, but I think it will be very tight. I think it's going to be a good game. I think Australia will need to play. Do we know if Skelton is out for the tournament or he might be back?
I don't think he's back for this weekend.
Wow. Okay. No, I'm going to stick with Australia for this one. Mainly to continue the theme of winding up my Celtic brethren.
I'm going to go for Australia as well, just because I want to keep this group as interesting as possible. So
Yeah,
I'm going to put them
it'd be
as
quality.
well. Any final thoughts,
Look,
mate?
no, I just it's going to be an epic weekend. Well, it starts Wednesday night, and yeah, just a lot more positive. I thought this week from fans, apart from the booing at one of the games. But yeah, no, it's
Wasn't
the
me.
momentum's there. I mean, it's cool though, isn't it? Like how exciting it is. There was all this worry about that it wouldn't be as good with more teams in it. It's proved to be really really good. Also that the weekends wouldn't work. I think this is perfect. It gives teams just enough time to recoup. The squads seem to be lasting quite well, and if it's like this now, the knockout stages are going to be just incredible. So yeah, keep it rolling.
Yeah, I mean, the players need time to recoup. I need time to recoup as well. It's exhausting over here, Elko. It's absolutely exhausting. But
My
I'm
heart
feeling
bleeds.
Sympathy, please. Yeah, sympathy. And people at home, I'm literally disappearing here. What do you think? Which games are you looking forward to? Do you disagree with us on any of the fixtures? Let us know in the comments. Do you think we've got some things wrong? Definitely let us know about that. And while you're down there, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. And don't miss out on the daily vlogs where I take you into the stadiums, into the fan zones, and into the towns as well. We have a good look around and see what's going on, speak to some people, and have a good time. So until the next show, get out and play.